Okay. Hello. Welcome. Hey, everybody. Tony Baccigalupo here, and I'm with Team SPI. Very excited to have you here for Demo Day Q3-21. Go ahead and just let me know in the chat. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Want to make sure that we've got our tech things going on well. I see we've got a good number of people in the chat. Already some people warming up. Can y'all hear me okay? Anybody in the chat, just want to confirm. Yay, all right, thank you, Pat. And I'll actually bring on Pat and Jill from Team SPI as well. And so excited to have you all here. Welcome, Pat. Welcome, Jill. How are you all doing today?
Doing excellent. Thankful that everybody's here for this demonstration, right? In the description on my YouTube channel, I was saying it kind of reminds me of entrepreneur show and tell, just like in elementary school, right? It's just what are they going to bring to the table? I'm so excited.
Show and tell never stopped being a thing. I feel like it's just such a wonderful thing. And yeah, and I want to say, you know, SPI Pro is just such an amazing community. And not just because of all the work that the team puts into it. Jill, I want to hear from you a little bit about your experience running it over the last year plus now. But the people who are in this community are just amazing. So for anybody who doesn't know, SPI Pro is a premium online membership community for people who are running their own businesses. And so it is a place for people to go to find support from each other. And it's also a place where people can participate in some of the awesome programming we have. Our friend Jay Klaus, who hopefully will join us for a little bit at some point, does a very kind of personal mastermind matching program. Jill works with Team SPI and the member produce a lot of programming, which she can tell you a little bit more about soon. And it's just amazing the people who are in this space. And we've got enrollment opening up again November 29th, later this month. And so if you have a chance, if you're interested in membership, go ahead and check it out over there at smartpassiveincome.com/pro. And yeah, so that's a little bit about Pro. Jill, do you want to tell us maybe a little bit about how you're feeling about Pro and just what you've been seeing the members and what they've been up to lately?
Yeah, so as Tony mentioned, I've been the community manager for Pro for a little over a year in September. And it's just amazing. I love seeing every day, seeing people work together, help each other out when you have that like question because that one thing isn't talking to that other part of your website and nobody in your personal life knows what you're talking about, nor do they care. You know, you have a place to go and be like, this thing's happening. And immediately a bunch of people will jump in and be like, oh, that happened to me. Here's how you fix it, and save you like 2 days of back and forth with your host or whoever. But also it's just a very encouraging, safe place for entrepreneurs to talk to other people who get it and know what it's like to be, you know, in a room in your house trying to manage a business while your kids are running around, or you have another job that you have to go to later. It's just it's just such a fun group, and I love seeing all the work they do and how they help each other. And yeah, anybody in the chat, if you are a pro, why don't you shout out your cohort while we're chatting? Let's see which cohorts are showing up today in Demo Day.
Cohort is a hard word to say, I will say. I've had to get used to saying it. Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody.
Friday.
Cohort, Gesundheit. And you will see that this will happen in any of our broadcasts. You will be seeing people shouting out their cohort names or their mastermind names, and you'll be seeing people talking about fruits or vegetables, and it all seems very confusing from the outside, which I guess is kind of intentional, right? We would create like little in-jokes for our members. But I love that people are really taken to it and getting enough camaraderie that they want to identify with their cohort, with their people. Pat, I wanted to ask you a quick question before we get into some of the presentations. A couple of years ago, SPI was, even last year before Pro launch, SPI has largely been a organization that engages people through broadcasts, through sharing great content, blog posts, podcasts, events, educational programming, that kind of thing. But the way that people would interact back would be largely through, chat and things like that. Now, the dynamic has changed really drastically, where you've now got people who are providing value to each other through SPI Pro and through the cohorts, the boot camps that we're creating. And we've got a whole CX team to service that. So what's it like for you? What's that transition been like for you? And how are you feeling about it, moving ahead into thinking about next year?
We've definitely invested a lot into community, and not just our team, but in the programming and what it is that we offer. And SPI Pro has been a wonderful thing that actually had been on my mind to help create, but that was a 2023 plan. And then when the pandemic hit and people were looking for help and support from each other, that's when Matt and I really were like, you know what, we got to pull this forward, because this is exactly what people need right now. And that, on top of the experience that I had prior to that at FlynnCon. At FlynnCon was the first time that people got to meet each other inside of my brand. For a while, it was just me talking to everybody and people talking back to me, and the occasional thread on a Facebook group or something like that to connect people together. But here it was in person in San Diego, 500 entrepreneurs. And you know what? The feedback wasn't, it was all positive, but the number one thing people loved the most about it was not the talks. It was not even me. It was people finding each other and finding their people all in one spot. So SPI Pro now being a virtual version of that, a virtual version of the hallways in between the talks, this maybe is like a version of a talk, and then people can go back into Pro and, help each other out. It's just been amazing. I've never had such positive feedback from anything I've ever done. And the beauty of this is it's not just me anymore. It's me and and the team here, and also the community members who are adding to the value themselves. It's just been a wonderful thing, and I'm so excited about it. So, and here we are, a demo day. We're going to see a little bit about some of the work that we've been holding people accountable with, and I'm really excited about it.
Amazing. Well, appreciate that, Pat, and appreciate the opportunity to work with you on this. This is just such a great direction to be taking the brand and the organization. So without further ado, I want to get into one of our first presentations. We've got David Schreiner-Kahn, who is here in the broadcast with us. And I'm so excited to have David along. He runs this website, Smashing the Plateau, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it. And I believe he also has a screen to share as well. David, I know you had gotten it shared below, and there should be a way for you to choose a window if you, when you open it, there should be a few tabs open that give you the opportunity to pick a window. But if you have to screen share the whole thing, then that's okay too. And oh yeah, you've got it. Looks like you've got it up. And once it's queued up, I will bring it full screen. And we've got Jay Klaus in the house as well. Welcome, Jay. Good to see you here. Hey, Jay. How you doing, man?
Hey, hello. I didn't want to interrupt anything that was going on. You guys were on a really good roll. Yeah, I'm excited about this. Demo Day is one of my favorite parts of Pro membership, and we're getting better and better about telling the story and getting people involved. So I will get out of David's way, because I've been anxiously awaiting to see some of the progress that David's been making over the last several weeks too.
Very good. David, do you want to start by just telling us a little story, and then maybe we could see if we could get the screen share working?
Sure. I'm going to send you a link to, maybe you can just bring up this page and share it on your end.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So I've been podcasting for 7 years. I'm starting with Smashing the Plateau in 2014, and we launched Going Solo in 2019. We help consultants build their business following a late career job loss, and Going Solo is really about that initial transition, what it feels like. Either to leave voluntarily or quite frequently to be pushed out when you're, I would say, typically over the age of 50. And on the business side, I was an employee for 28 years before I launched my business in 2006. My journey is very similar to the journey of the people we now serve. So I was in executive roles. My job ended. I started a consulting business. I really wanted to be in my own business, so in many ways, it was a blessing in disguise. However, the trigger was a job termination, and podcasting has been a big thing for me. It's helped me connect with lots of people that I wasn't connecting with outside the podcast. And in particular, one of the things I've seen over the last few years, as I personally have served the audience of senior consultants, I've seen that they do a lot better, like Matt, you just said, finding your people. So when they're in a group with their people, they flourish. As someone who can guide them, I can help so much, but they actually do way better when they're in community. And so what we've attempted to do this year is to take what we've been doing in these small curated groups and really create a platform where we can serve many more consultants and connect many more people to one another. So it's kind of fortuitous that I discovered that SPI Pro existed just this past summer, around the time that we were beginning to kind of plan the technology infrastructure for the Smashing the Plateau community. And the challenge that I forth for myself, that I made public inside SPI Pro. By the way you do this with a quarterly challenge and then asking people if they want to demo, the result is really a great way to hold people accountable and encourage them at the same time. So I said I want to have this be ready to launch the community for some founding members. And when I first posted this, and this is what I want to do over the next quarter, we had none of the technology built. We weren't even sure exactly which platforms we were going to use. And for anybody who has created any kind of business online, the technology is actually a key part. So we have, over the last few months, built out the technology. We're at the point now where we're accepting applications for founding members. I'm having conversations with some founding members and potential founding members, and it's really exciting to hear people say, yeah, this is exactly what I need right now. At this point, I feel the isolation of going from this corporate environment where I'm part of an organization, and there's a built-in social infrastructure to working on my own all the time, and I'm trying new things, and the isolation just kind of exacerbates the fear of trying new things. I don't always have the answers. There's the knowledge gap. I don't know who to go to for lots of things. So having a place where there's curated information, curated resources, I can be in touch with my people. We can collaborate. We can help each other, and I don't feel so isolated. That's a great thing. Am I still live? Because I don't hear anything.
Oh, sorry about that, David. So thank you, David. That was so amazing. And I feel like it's such a powerful thing for anyone to create a community and to put themselves just in that position of power and influence, but then also getting the feedback loop of having people showing up and telling you what's going on in their lives. What's everybody, Jill, Pat, what do y'all think of what Howard presented?
Love it, David. I just always get really excited when our own pro members are using SPI Pro as like an example on how to do things. Like that makes that's like validation for us, but also we can make the mistakes first, right? And have you then sort of take a better approach than sometimes we can. So I love that, David. What would be like the next milestone for you to achieve after this?
So the next milestone will be building some engagement with founding members, and then having a public launch where we really market the community and try to actually invite in a sizable cohort of people.
Great.
by the way, Pat, yeah, I want to echo what you said about SPI Pro. So I've been involved in community building, probably in various ways in my whole career. I've learned a lot of techniques from your entire team at SPI Pro. So you, Jillian, Tony, Jay, and everybody who's part of it. I've learned quite a bit and tried to emulate what I see works really well in terms of community building, particularly in an online community.
Well, thank you for that. And definitely credit to the team for sure on that one. And I'm excited because as you build your community, you're going to discover things that you can then come and share with us, right? So we can just continue to have this awesome feedback loop. And I love
Which
that.
would be my pleasure, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you, David. We'll look forward to it.
I wanted to ask, not to like overdo the, pat us on the back compliment thing, but I'm sorry, David, what in particular has jumped out at you about what you've seen from what we've done that you found to be useful? Because sometimes it's hard for us to know, what's obvious versus what's something we're doing that's a little bit different.
I think the office hours are great. Just as an example, it's not something that as team members, I think you have to involve a lot of preparation for you, but I think just showing up, being live and open-ended on a regular basis for members to come in and ask questions is a great thing. I really like what you're doing with Demo Day. As I said before, that's something I think I'm going to try to emulate. One of the challenges I had with my people is getting them to be really forthright about what their primary action is going to be over the next period of time. And I think Demo Day is actually a great way to do it.
I agree.
Yeah. And hey, Demo Day is not a new concept for our community. I did this with my co-working community many years ago. The idea of giving your members in your community a opportunity to present to the fellow community members is tried and true, because it's such a win, right? It's a way for members to get positive feedback and get some attention and maybe some advice. But then other members learn more about the awesome people who are there. And you can even maybe invite the general public like we're doing now, where we can draw more attention to the amazing work that the members of this community are doing. And by the way, if anybody in the chat has questions for our presenters, just drop them in as we go, and we will definitely call them out, bring them up. And let's make some digital noise for David and congratulate him on the work that he's done. Can we do some digital noise? Woo. Or some digital chat noise? David, thank you so much for kicking us off.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Jill, were you going to say something else?
No, I mean, other than David, I love what you're doing. I'm super honored to be adjacent to all your work, and keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the soundboard going.
All right, so we're going to keep it moving. Right now, we've got Howard who is here, and Howard, just so you know, you also should be able to screen share in. There should be a little button with a little computer with an arrow on it, as is the usual these days. But if you have any, let me know. But I want to introduce Howard. Howard is working on a new podcast, and so he was able to make a lot of progress working with us this past couple of months. And so I'm excited to hear the latest from you, Howard, on what you've been doing. Do you want to start off by telling us a little story of how you got involved, what you've been working on, where you were facing challenges?
Well, where wasn't I facing challenges might be the quicker answer. So I the important part of this whole thing is to understand my backstory a little bit, and that is that I am caring for my wife, who is end stage Alzheimer's, as a caregiver, and I keep her in the home, though I do have professional help that comes in to help me. So when I first started this journey of taking care of her, I was remarkably overwhelmed by a sense of being alone on this journey. And I started taking a look out into the broader world and discovered that there are a lot of people out there who are involved in the same thing. But the one common thread for most of us is that we feel pretty alone on this journey, like there's not a lot out there. We see doctors, and the doctor will tell you that with this particular disease condition, there's nothing he can do. And so there's not much reason for bringing your loved one in for any additional care. There are drugs out there, but the drugs all prove ineffective in doing anything. They advertise slowing down the pace of the progress of this awful disease. And if what my wife has gone through is the result of the slowing of the disease, then thank God for the drug, because I wouldn't want to see what fast progress is. So I decided about a year and a half ago that I had developed enough story, and I knew there were enough people out there in the world who felt alone, and I wanted to figure out a way to reach them. And I took a look at some of the social media platforms, and I got very concerned about the ones that are focused in on Alzheimer's caregivers, because the people that were entering or putting in data on those and sharing their stories were so angry and were, so overwhelmed by grief and so on. And I thought, that certainly is a part of this journey, but it's not the only aspect of it. So I decided to start chronicling mine, and I started writing a journal about 4 years ago, and decided that maybe the best thing to do was to share it with the world and do a podcast. And so I started working on it about a year and a half ago, bought all the equipment that I needed, and then sat down trying to put it together, and discovered that doing it on my own by myself was probably more than I could handle. And so somehow I ran across an advertisement for this guy named, what's his name? Oh yeah, Pat Flynn, who had a series of online seminars and classes. And so kind of on a whim, I decided to sign up for it. And what I discovered was a community of people who were trying to put together podcasts, who, despite what the topic of their podcast was, all shared a common sense of being alone in their journey to develop their podcasts. And no matter what other sense of loneliness they had, it was that they were kind of on their own to figure this out. And we've all looked at podcasts, we've all listened to podcasts, and have enjoyed some of them and not enjoyed others. Have seen some that are very organic and very real and spontaneous, and others that are probably overly prepared, rehearsed, and practiced. And it comes across when you listen to the podcast. Once I've entered this universe, I'm amazed at the broad range of subjects and topics that are covered by podcasts. It's anything from, people reading works of literature that they've written, to people who are going to tell you how to bake a better loaf of bread, which during the pandemic was an important topic. And people like mine who had compelling stories of life experience that, if shared, would perhaps help others be able to cope with those same things. And that's kind of the category that I tried to fit in. I had set a target of having my first episode airable on the 1st of November, this month. And I've got one episode recorded. I have one other that's ready to be recorded. I've got the script written, and we'll talk about scripts in a second and what I've discovered about scripts. And then the other one that is outlined. So to talk about scripts, the very first one that I put out is pretty much read. I wrote out a script, and Pat, I very much relate to your story about your very first podcast episode where you did the same and then you listened to it. And perhaps it's conceit on my part, but I think I was able to read it in a way that, while it sounds read, at least it sounds read in a conversational tone of voice. And so I think I achieved that. And because there were certain topics that I wanted to cover and words and phrases I wanted to use certain ways, I found that an important tool. Going forward, though, I've changed my attitude, and I will always work from an outline, because I have a tendency to start talking and lose my track. I forget where I am or where I was going. And while I may circle back to the topic, it becomes a very wide circle. And so to make sure that I keep those circles as minimal as I can, I find an outline of the key points that I want to cover, including key phrases that I want to include, has been really the right way for me to go. Through the use of your course, I've been able to identify how to incorporate certain elements into mine. For example, I had no idea where I was going to get intro and outro music, and I think that's important. And then one of the sessions talked about the various online services that are available. I found one; it had music I liked, so I've got my music selected. The beauty is, at some point, if I get bored with it after 125 episodes, cross fingers, I will do my best to maybe find a new and different music source. But I know where to go to get it now. Same with the introduction. I struggled with whether or not to hire somebody to be the voice, and the feedback I got, the voice introducing my podcast, the feedback I got was that because what I was presenting was an authentic story, that maybe it would be better to maintain that authenticity by doing them myself. And so that's kind of where I'm going to go now. I've pre-recorded an intro and an outro that I can use, that are generic enough that I can use for every episode. And I intend to use that, at least for the time being. And I guess my point in sharing those stories more than anything is that through the development of the community that kind of developed around that Power Up Podcast Bootcamp cohort developed, was that I got feedback from people who some were much farther more developed in their podcast than I am, and others were starters like me. But I got feedback that I thought was valuable and actionable, and that really was an important aspect. The other thing that came out of that whole Power Up Podcast Bootcamp experience is that I was able to become part of what we created as a mastermind after that all got set up. And I, like a fool, put my hand up and said that I would be the moderator for the mastermind. So for the last 7 weeks, the numbers winnowed down to about 7 or 8 people. But we get together weekly for an hour, and we share where we are. And that group of 6 or 7 people have become a valuable and important resource each for the others. And it's really been a great experience. So I've gotten a lot out of it, things that I didn't even expect to get out of it. This being involved with a community has been a really kind of an eye-opening experience. I know I can share my screen. What I was going to do was just kind of get for you the artwork that I use. Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can find it real quick. For my
and just so you know, podcast. Howard, once you've got it queued up, I will bring it to the live stage. So I'll just see it when it's queued on my end.
Let me see if I can find it. In any case, I've learned a lot. Let me just kind of go back. Okay, here it is right here. So how do I share this? I've got it up in a Photoshop screen.
Great. So yeah, if you go into Restream, where we're all hanging out, there should be a little screen share button at the bottom center. Okay.
Let me get back there.
And while you're doing that, Howard, I just want you to know you are getting so much love in the chat, and I'm putting some of those chats up on the screen, so you can check the replay or scroll back through the chat later to see all the love you're getting. But people really showing their appreciation for your work and for your work as a caregiver, and for all the caregivers, really. Which we're definitely going to discuss a little bit more.
And that's an evolution that I've gone through. I've discovered that it's not just Alzheimer's caregivers. I think there are a lot of caregivers for a lot of different conditions that family members have. Okay, it's do I want to? No, I don't want to leave. I want to. Okay, let's do this. What button do I push to share my screen?
It should be the one that looks like a little laptop with an arrow on it.
Oh, but it's got a red line through it.
Yeah, that's fine. You click it anyway.
Okay, I did. So if I click on
pick that window.
This should be the one. Well, I've clicked on the window, but it's not. Do you see it?
Nope, not quite yet.
We hit share. It says unable to share the screen. Update system permissions. Well,
bummer. I'm sorry.
I've run into that
Howard.
before. I used to run into that in Zoom until I updated my Zoom settings. So as the moderator and host, I've discovered that I had to change some settings. So in any case, I was just going to share with you guys the artwork I have for my podcast, which, by the way, is entitled "The Stranger on My Couch," and the name comes from an actual incident that occurred as my wife's disease progressed. After dinner one evening a few years ago, we were sitting in the family room, and at one point she leaned over, looked at me. I was sitting in a chair across from her. She was sitting on the couch, and she asked me who I was. She failed to recognize me, and so I decided that incident at that instant, that's 4 or 5 years ago, that I needed to share that somehow. My original idea was a blog, and then somehow it evolved to this. So that's kind of where we are. So that's kind of my story, Tony. I will tell you, Tony, you were part of that whole boot camp experience, and you moderated all of our sessions. And I know I can speak for all the people I know that we were delighted that you were there, and it was wonderful. So I'm very glad to have met you through that process, and am inspired by people like you who do what you do. I don't know how you do a podcast. It strikes me you spend so much time doing stuff for Pat. I hope you're asking him for a raise because you're working awful hard for him. In any case, have I covered the
mail, Howard?
Yeah. Oh,
hey, there's the artwork.
There it is. So that's
Stranger on my couch.
That's my artwork.
So
It's kind of interesting. So I'll share with this audience something. So I hired one of these services that have graphic artists and so on, and he sent me this, and I really liked it. And see how it's got all the perspective lines in it? I told him that's the one I wanted, and he was surprised. He said, well, don't you want me to clean up the perspective lines? And I said, given what I'm dealing with, I think that they actually make some sense. And for me, they gave it a sense of depth and a sense of meaning that people who are dealing with Alzheimer's sufferers might understand. Because I think what they struggle with early on in their disease is understanding how the world works, and perspective is a key element. And so I really liked the perspective lines and made a conscious decision to keep them in. So I kind of covered what I think you would ask me to cover, Tony. I don't know if there are any questions that you have, or Pat has, or Jill has. I'm delighted to answer them if that's appropriate. I don't even know if that's appropriate. It may, as you've noticed, I am not shy about finding words to use, and so sometimes
this is why podcasting is perfect for you, Howard.
Yeah,
absolutely. It
There
really is.
are two reasons why. There are two reasons. Not only that, but I have the face made for radio. Don't you think?
No. Howard, you're doing awesome. We love you and are so thankful for you stepping into this world to help share this message with other people and share your experiences. It's going to change lives, Howard. I hope you know that. So as you keep making these incremental steps toward, publication and then what happens after, I'm just so excited for you because as you've heard from many people, podcasting can really be very fulfilling and allow us to even cope with a lot of things, and it allows us to connect with people that we would have never met otherwise. And it's already done that even before your show. And I'm looking forward to after as well.
Well, thank you guys. So I appreciate giving the opportunity to chat with you all, and I hope that I said something at least that is inspirational or makes sense or whatever.
Oh, you did, Howard. I think we're all trying not to just cry, and also just think what you're doing is so amazing. And I just want to take a moment to appreciate that you, as a caregiver to your wife, I know from personal experience, that's a really difficult role. It's unforgiving. It's kind of thankless, and you're just an amazing human for all you do and the support you're providing for other caregivers. So,
well, I hope this session's being recorded, because there are a few people that I'd like to share your observation with. So.
Please do.
Absolutely. And Howard, want to call out Briz Joshi in the chat. You've got a listener. You've got a listener in the chat who is so grateful.
Oh my gosh.
And thank you so much for changing my life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. She continues saying she's working on coming up with her own podcast. I said she, I don't know.
Nice.
Briz, wonderful Briz, which is a cool name. Oh, how does anyone follow Howard? Yeah, I know, Finley. I'm so sorry. We should have saved Howard for last. That's okay. That's okay. Everybody see, the thing about Demo Day is that the bar it gets set high right at the beginning, and then we just keep clearing them. We got a lot of high jumpers here. Howard, thank you so much for your time. It has been an absolute pleasure. Appreciate having you here.
Well, the last thing I will say is that once it's published, I will go into one of the Your Circle websites. I joined what's the super duper group.
Pro.
Yeah,
SPI
Pro.
So I'll post in Pro when I'm out there, along with a link and my website. So my website's under development. It's almost ready to go. And so once it's all out there, I'll post that all in Pro. And that's where people can see what's going on. So if you're subscribed to Pro, you'll get inundated with me.
We look forward to it, Howard.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. Congrats again. And was somebody saying something?
That was great. That's all.
I've got another guest to bring in, and he is a remarkable individual that many of us in the SPI world know super well. And he runs an amazing podcast also called You, Me, Empathy. But he's also got a new project that he's going to be sharing with us today called Dear Childhood Me. It's the one and the only Known Wells, our very own Known Wells, everybody. Let's make some noise.
Yay.
Some noise for Known. I really love Known. Welcome, by the way. I love that we have like one member of Team SPI who gets to present at every demo day. I think that's becoming a tradition now because everybody here is working on really cool projects when they're not working on SPI. So it's amazing. All the good stuff. Known, how you doing, man? Thank you for making the push to come join us.
Yeah. Happy to see Pat, Jillian, Tony. Good to see you, friends.
Yeah, it's good to see you here too.
Hey, friend.
So, Known, take it away. Tell us a little bit about, maybe can you start with You, Me, Empathy, and you just hit 200 episodes. Tell us a little bit about that and then your book.
Yeah. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
It sounds good, yeah.
Okay. You, Me, Empathy is my mental health podcast. I've been doing it for almost 4 years now. Last week, I reached 200 episodes, which I am not someone who tends to like think about numbers or anything, but it felt like an opportunity for me to like give myself some credit because it's something I am proud of, and it's a space. I created it to be a space to. You guys can hear me, okay? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
I created You, Me, Empathy to be a space that I did not have growing up, to be a safe space to meet people where they are. And I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. And sort of as I sort of grew into my own healing and my mental health and my empathy journey, I wanted to do more and reach more and impact more and just sort of be involved more. And so last year I started the Feely Human Collective. You can check it out at feelyhuman.co. And there I lead workshops online and for colleges on things like empathy, things like emotional awareness and feeling your feelings and things like that. I also empower others to lead their own workshops. We have one coming up on December 2nd on building your self-care survival kit. And it's great. It's all based around growing our capacity for empathy, vulnerability, and emotional curiosity. It's been a lot of fun to do. One of the things that I think I struggle with it, and I know a lot of folks on the team are just very good at that, is like the marketing of it, the sort of like the business side of it. I'm more of like a head in the clouds, like idea guy. And the sort of like pen on paper, like biz stuff, like I just struggle with. So anyways, The latest thing, I have like lots of products and whatnot, but the latest thing I've been working on is called Dear Childhood Me. And it started, I'll share sort of what it looks like in a second, but it started with like me trying to sort of, in my own healing, trying to give my inner child, or sort of the past version of myself, the childhood version of me, more love and more care and attention. I started going to EMDR therapy, and that's sort of been crucial in my mental health. And as part of that journey, it's been sort of about sort of going back through my childhood traumas and sort of exploring that stuff. And so part of my writing journey and my healing journey has been sort of writing little notes to myself, sort of basically saying, Dear Childhood Me, and then a little fun little note, and then love future me. So I had been doing that for the past year, and I thought like, it'd be kind of fun to like put this in a journal or something. And so I created this little journal called Dear Childhood Me. This is just a sample. And someone's asking, can you explain EMDR? Yes, I will in a second. So this is just a sample of it. It's a little pocket book. It's 48 pages. Each page has a little saying within it. It's very cute. The idea is to use this as a little sort of space to write little notes to your inner child. And I'm being distracted by my dog because she's barking. Hold on one sec. Maddie! Hey! Maddie! Yes! Maddie, come! Sorry. So it's 48 pages. I love it, though I think it's not complete yet. What I think I came up with this week is I designed some intro pages that essentially sort of explains what it is, sort of like use this journal to do this thing. I'm also going to make a bigger version of it, because I think this would be like a good sort of like, pick it up wherever, like stocking stuffer type of thing. But I wanted like a journal that actually had some more pages and more breadth as well. Yeah, thanks, Pat. I love the design too. It's cute. I think it's important to think about sort of all versions of ourselves. Someone asked about EMDR. It's a type of therapy. I'm forgetting the name of it. Electromagnetic. No. Eye desensitization and movement and reprocessing, I think. But it's designed specifically for like trauma based sort of therapy. It's designed to sort of reintegrate hard experiences. I highly recommend it if you're someone who has had trauma. But yeah, this is what I'm working on. I am in the process of trying to figure out, should I like pre-sell this thing? Should I, I'm not sure yet what to do with it. Cause as you all know, as maybe some of you know, like buying product and having inventory is a lot. It's like, and I am just one, person with a tiny house. So I don't have all the space. So I'm trying to figure out like how to sell it and market it and stuff like that. So that's me.
Awesome.
No, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
Amazing work. Beautiful work. Jill was shouting out your design skills in the chat. Your merch is beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. I bought a Feely Human shirt and I love it. It's high quality, it's cute, and it's great. 12 out of 10.
So I'm assuming, known when it comes out, you'll mention it on your podcast, You Me Empathy, and you'll sort of introduce people to it. How are you, or have you thought at all about the sort of technology that you'd use to sell it? Would it be like through Shopify or something like that? Most likely, if people wanted to grab it, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely mention it on the podcast. I think what's hard is like, and what I struggle with is like, it's just me, and I have a, independent podcast, and I have a platform, and I have Instagram and things like that. I have like commerce through Squarespace on the site, so I could sell it through there. But I am thinking about sort of like testing the idea first. Like you always talk about that, Pat, right? Testing the water, see if validation, see if anyone even would like this thing. And then also,
yeah, give me the link, known.
And also start like trying to like, you know, I'm friends with and connected with a lot of mental health organizations, try to see if I can get people to commit to like buying in bulk or, you know, shopping it at local shops and things like that. That stuff is like deeply uncomfortable for me, but I think will be an important part of like this success. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, you could even pre-sell it to see what the numbers might be, and then it might help you with your print run. And you know, honestly, for me, I mean, the big thing, and this is of course something that is not just unique to you, Gnome, but most people who we come across, who we help at SPI, a lot of times it's their first time selling their thing. And so, you know, we have to realize that, you know, you can serve and sell at the same time if you truly believe in what it is that you are offering and how it might help people. So in a way, it almost becomes like, in a way, a responsibility or an obligation to make sure you get it into people's hands in the right way. And a lot of times they don't necessarily take things that they get for free sometimes with all seriousness. So I love this project. We're all here to support you with it. And obviously a great reaction from the crowd right here so far. So looking forward to seeing it through.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate you all.
All right. And thanks again for making the push to join Known. And so glad that we were able to put this in front of folks. Goodness, you notice how we have a streak of just really meaningful projects? I just keep seeing that coming up in the boot camps that we do. We've done the Power Up Podcasting Boot Camp, Heroic Online Courses. And, you know, people could be selling courses or doing podcasts about any topic. But I think it really is a testament to the culture that Pat and the SPI team have created over the years, that we tend to have just really good people here who are creating things that are about serving others. And I think that's just, you know, it's such a beautiful thing. So we're going to take a turn now into Nathan's world, Nathan Cottrell, who's going to be joining us next. And we're going to be learning a little bit about music today. So I'm excited about that. Nathan, welcome to the program. Can you hear me? Can we hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
What's up, Nathan?
I can hear you. Welcome, Nathan. How are you?
See piano in the background.
Yeah, so this is my my studio at school, so nice and cozy.
Nice.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. This is pretty cool. So what I do is I'm a cellist, and primarily my thing is string quartet. And so if you've been in the music world, the way that music usually works is sometimes you work with a private teacher. And when you're learning a new piece, they give you the music and they say, go home and figure it out and come back. I'll see you next week. And you're supposed to have learned some of it and you kind of work on it that way. And that's a good process one-on-one. But then when you're in a group, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen behind the scenes with rehearsals. And coaches and conductors, they don't often have the time to teach that. And that's what I love. I love rehearsals. I love the nitty gritty of trying to figure out how do you work as a team. And you have to imagine people in the music world, especially the classical music world, we've been spending 10 or 20 or 30 years by ourselves in a practice room like this, figuring out how to do our own thing, figuring out how to find our own voice. And then you're thrown into a group with other people and you have to figure out, okay, what are we supposed to do now? How do we make this work? How do we get 4 different ideas to come together so it's a cohesive idea that we present to the audience? And a lot of groups crash and burn because people don't know how to do that. And I'm convinced that it's a skill, and that sometimes you hear people say that that group either has it or they don't. It is some ambiguous thing, personality matching or whatever. But the more I've worked with people, it's really just understanding how to do it. And so what I've created is just the first of what I hope are many courses that walk through a specific piece. So this is the very first of its kind. There's nothing like it. So I'm pretty excited about it. And this web page that I created, it's unlinked on my website. And basically, I have several friends, several coaches that I wanted to give this to just to get feedback. This is going to be a free kind of first part of the course. the piece that I'm
Nathan, do you
doing.
want me to turn on screen share? Just want to be sure.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll pull it up here. Yeah, so this is it. Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
so
that's good.
yeah, so the song or the piece is Joseph Haydn's Quartet Opus 64 number 4, which may not mean much to anybody, but that's just what quartet it is basically. And I'm doing the first movement. There are 4 movements in the whole piece. So I've just focused on the first movement. And what this does is that it's intended for coaches to use for their students. And I put it in this format initially because I wanted there to be the least amount of friction possible. So it's going to be kind of like a lead magnet for me, hopefully grow my audience, but then also people just put in their email address. They don't have to sign up for anything else. They don't have to log into a course or anything like that. It just is here. And so it's to give me a better idea of what works, to get some feedback and to see what they like. So these are the different kind of areas of this course. And this is a message to the coaches, because this is in no way intended to take the place of a in-person performance coach. This is really to come alongside it as a curriculum for coaches so that they can give it to their students, and the students can take it home and they can learn how to practice their own part. They can learn how to rehearse as a group. They can get some of the history of the piece. There's this rehearsal guide here, and then these practice sessions are videos of each person in my quartet explaining their parts. So I have 2 up here now. It's not quite ready. I still have some stuff to put in here, but this is my friend Delphine. She's the second violinist in the quartet. This is me, obviously. And it's basically walking through our parts and how we think about our parts, how we play our parts, how we practice them, some of the difficult sections, all the kind of behind the scenes stuff that as a high schooler and as a college student, I really wanted to know. I wanted to know how my teachers got ready for performances. I wanted to know what they did in the practice room. I wanted to know how they thought and what they thought about when they were performing. And so this is kind of addressing those questions that I had as a young musician. The rehearsal guide is just what it sounds like. Rehearsing can be a really difficult thing, but here I just lay out some guidelines and some tips, and there's a PDF that goes along with that. And in the etudes, part of rehearsing is figuring out how to fix problems, right? So you know something isn't right, but how do you actually fix it? And so the etudes, what we've done is, I'm going to write some pieces, etudes that go along that are taken from the music that they can practice as a group. And it'll help them address things like intonation and articulation, playing together, bow speed, all type of musician type stuff. And then this is a video of my group actually performing it not too long ago, a couple months ago, so they can see what it sounds like as a live performance. It's easy as a musician to listen to recordings, and you get kind of a makeup view, right? Everything's been fixed, everything's been touched up. And so there can be this big gap between how you feel you're doing as a student, because what you hear is so far ahead. And so while this is a really good recording, it's not perfect because it's live, it's unedited. And I wanted to give students a picture of kind of what that looked like. And also to just give them some grace, because it's hard as a student, especially when you're looking up to your teachers and you hear these recordings, and it can put a lot of pressure on you. So this is hopefully to just give them an idea of what it could look like, and hopefully take some of the pressure off. Because things happen, it's a live performance, it's a live broadcast, it's not ever going to be perfect. And then this is just a little response form, so people can get back to me, and hopefully I'll be able to follow up with them. And I'm not exactly sure what direction it will take, if I'll end up keeping all of it, or if I'll just focus on one part of it. But that was my big push. I have a couple more days to plug stuff in, and then I'll be sending this out in the next few days.
Absolutely
That's
amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. What a great niche. What a great angle for all of this.
This is absolutely great.
Oh, we got Jay here.
I was in a brass quartet, Nathan, and I often, when I was rehearsing by myself, or even with like one other partner, right, because we couldn't all get in a group the whole time, just we were on our own, and we would just kind of run through it blindlessly, and or blindly, and it was just like really hard. I really love this idea. I think that it's a really smart way to use, like Jillian was saying, the technology that we have available. And so is this in anybody's hands yet, or is this like what you were working toward to develop, and then the next step is to get it into people's hands? Like, where are you at now, and what's the next step? I love it.
Yeah, this isn't in anybody's hands. So I've talked to a few of my friends, some coaches about it, but getting ready for this demo day had me up late a few nights to just kind of put it together. So it took I've learned a lot, and I've had to learn what it meant to be a producer as well, working with my friends, the other ladies in my quartet, to video them. And the next step is to just finish it, make sure all the links are good, send it out. And I have a feeling that I may niche down even further into just rehearsals. And because right now I'm providing the music as well. So there's a free website called IMSLP, and you can go on there and you can find so much classical music. But often it's messy, they're old copies, but they're free. So teachers and students use them, but then you end up wasting hours writing in bowings and markings and trying to clean things up. And so I've kind of made my own edition. And if people like it, that's one thing, but that's been a ton of work. So we'll just see how things shake out.
I also noticed on the file there were YouTube videos, right, from your friends in your quartet. Are those public on YouTube as well? And because you had mentioned using this as a lead magnet, like those videos themselves could be lead magnets on YouTube to introduce like one part of the four, and then have people discover that they have this beautiful resource that they could get into from YouTube. Is YouTube like going to be a big play for you as well?
I think so. That's the plan. I'd like to make it kind of all like a playlist, I guess, and then it would lead back to the course. And and then once I figure out what works and what people really want, then at that point I can produce the rest of it and more quartets. The nice thing is that there are, just this guy, Joseph Haydn, he's an old dead dude, but he wrote 68 quartets. And there are probably 300 or 400 songs that I could do. So the supply is endless. So I don't know if I'll go that way or just rehearsals, but we'll see.
That's so cool. I love it, Nathan. Well done. And way to use the demo day as sort of like a driver for you.
Yeah, no, this was great. Thanks so much for having me.
I hear a nice clock or bells in the back.
Yeah, that's the giant.
Is that you, Nathan?
The giant out of tune bell here at school.
Oh no, as a musician, you're like every day. That's so great. Tony, we can't unmute if you can. It's okay.
There are so many different buttons that I'm actually running this on 3 different devices right now. So
you're good.
Okay, cool. Nathan, thank you so much. So great to have you along. And what we're going to be doing next is, and I wanted to say your bells, the bells sounded great too. Yeah.
I have to bounce for a little bit, but I might be back by the end. But I just wanted to say, keep going, because we're not stopping yet.
Thank you, Pat. So great to have you. Appreciate you. And thanks to everybody tuning in on Pat's personal channels as well. We have been experimenting with this platform of Restream. And, oh, wow, Pat went away and Jay just appeared. That's great.
Surprise.
Don't pick your nose.
It's really fun to play with this Restream platform where we can actually simulcast across different channels, across different software platforms. So all of this part of our kind of crash test dummy philosophy and culture at SPI of learning the tools, and you get to learn them along with us. So if anybody has any questions about how we do this broadcast or any things like that, definitely reach out to us, drop some comments. Look us up on Twitter, Team SPI on Twitter. So we're ramping that up. Jay, how you doing? What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. I've just been watching the chat, hanging out in Pat's stream chat, but I've got now 2 YouTube pop-out chats right here on my second display. I'm in the Restream. I got it all going on. I love Nathan's niche as well. Pat mentioned that. Nathan's come to a few of my office hours inside of SPI Pro, and we've been keeping in touch as he's been moving through the process of getting this course ready to go. And it's just fun to see the progress.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh, amazing. Mr. Jesse's asking, what are you using? We are using restream.io. And that is a platform that allows me to have all this cool interface stuff that you're seeing with our names and the captions and all of that. And then that gets piped into YouTube, YouTube Live, and actually gets piped into a bunch of other stuff too. So, but yeah, it's just Restream. No other middlemen. Really, really nice, well-featured platform. Cool. Okay, so Jay, Jill, hope y'all are ready. We are going to get into some of the pre-recorded videos, and the first one's going to be Finley Robinson and his partner. We're going to be talking about their workout website and how they've been adding a pro tier and working on some new stuff. I'll let them explain it to us, and let's see if we can get this working correctly.
Finley.
Hey, we are the Robinsons. I am Brooke, and this is Finley. We are the founders of Be Tribal Fit. I have been a group fitness instructor for just a little bit over 10 years. And about 3 years ago, it dawned on me that not everyone can get to a gym, not everyone can afford a gym, and some people just really don't want to go to a gym. But the greatest thing about group fitness is the community and accountability feel that comes with those group fitness classes. So 3 years ago is when we actually started Be Tribal Fit. I was traveling through my community, leading groups of women in workouts, and I couldn't reach everybody that wanted an opportunity to start a tribe with their friends. So Finley said, hey,
let's go online.
Why don't you record your workouts?
It's gonna work. So
so we started recording the workouts and putting them online, and now we are here.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see. I knew that she was really great at connecting with women and a super wonderful instructor, and
I
so
really love to encourage people.
we just figured, hey, the internet's a pretty big place, and so let's see if we can kind of create an online business. And so I've been listening to Pat and a lot of the SPI world for a while, and just decided, hey, let's see if we can create an online subscription to your workouts and kind of, take the decision making out of searching all over YouTube and trying to figure out what you were going to make. And so,
well, also just pumping a lot of life into women. Like, we do a lot of deep emotional.
Yeah, and that's where kind of the tribe idea
uplifting.
came in. So kind of pulling from Seth Godin's tribe idea, that was kind of built in from the very beginning to what we kind of thought was important as far as the community aspect goes. And so about a year ago, I decided, hey, let's go all in on this. And so I decided about a year ago to quit my job, and about 6 months ago, kind of that kind of played out. And so I've come on the team. We've been working for about 6 months. I call myself the brand manager. It's like a self-appointed title that I just gave to myself.
I'm not really
and
sure
so
what I do. I create things.
she does. She creates things, and I kind of get us ahead.
But
and
we've already
finish
gotten
things.
more done in the last few months that he has been all in than we have gotten done in years.
It's been great. But at the same time, we applied. So when I quit my job to come on kind of full-time here, I knew we needed some more community for ourselves and some more people to connect with who were doing online business. And so that's when we joined SPI Pro, was right at that same time. And it's been awesome and great for us to just kind of be around like-minded people, not working on the same thing, but sharing some community. And we've learned a lot of stuff. And so we're about 7 to 10 days out from kind of relaunching a lot of our technology, making our tribe experience better, making our workout experience better. And so we're going to show you some of that and some things we've kind of picked up from the SPI world. And here we go. We're going to take a look at it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, demo day, we're going to show off some of the fun things we've been working on. We realized kind of over the last 12 months that we'd hit a bit of a plateau. And so we needed to make some changes in our technology, in our language. And so that's what we've been working on a lot recently over the last few months. One of the things that we kind of sat down to do was reevaluate how our website was working. We realized we needed to make a shift to a new website. And at the same time, we were going to change some of our wording and our choices and the way that we're talking about Be Travel Fit and the way that we're trying to serve the women who subscribe. And so we went through the Donald Miller story brand framework and came up with basically Be Travel Fit is an easier way to eat and exercise. And with my wife as kind of the front face of that, we're going to give women an opportunity to have healthy meals and have workout videos ready just to press play on for them at their home. They don't have to travel anywhere. So an easier way to eat and exercise is kind of what Be Travel Fit is there to help serve women to accomplish. And so it's been fun to kind of see our new website come together. We've got a photography background, and so that's helpful to see how it can kind of freshen up your site. And then just the things that we're offering with the idea that the community really is at the centerpiece of what Be Travel Fit is all about, and making it more successful of a lifestyle. We have other people around you. So this is what we've been working on. We've been pulling out some of our old videos, trying to clean things up. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of some old stuff, but we realized there were some things that just weren't up to our standard. And so we've been pulling those out and just putting up some of our new best stuff. And then as far as SPI goes, it's been great. I hopped on a demo a few weeks ago where they talked about a company called Descript, and we had the idea as kind of a freebie that we wanted to generate 5 reasons why women hate fitness. And so we wrote those, kind of turned those into audio coaching sessions, and Descript helped us make that pretty fun and significant. So this is a good way for women to kind of get to know what Be Travel Fit is all about and get some coaching along the way. So that's what we've been working on. It's been really fun to do. We're excited to hopefully launching all this in the next couple of weeks. So we are there, and it's been great being able to jump on Demo Day with you guys. So hope you all enjoy the rest of your time with the SPI crew today.
All right.
Finley. I love that guy. What a great guy. And he was in the YouTube chat. I wonder if he's still around. Finley, you still in the YouTube chat? Say hello if so.
Jill, do you want to, or Jay, tell us just a little bit about your experience working with Finley while they've been working their way along?
He's just a really hardworking and also really supportive and humble guy. I've connected with him just like on all kinds of mediums, on Twitter, in email, on Instagram. They're everywhere. They're very supportive. Finley's wife mentioned that she likes to just kind of give people energy, and you feel it when you hear from them. And if there's one thing that's important, it's our health and our fitness. I'm sitting here constantly thinking, why am I not working out anymore? It's good to have people like the Robinsons to kick your butt into gear and to do that in a way that you can accommodate in your own home.
Love it. Jill, were you going to say something too? I saw you starting to form.
I started talking and realized I was muted. Classic. I was just going to say that Finley is such a delight in Pro, and just seeing everything the two of them are. Oh, he is in the chat. Hi, Finley. Everything they're doing and just how they're going about growing their business. I put it in the chat, Finley, but just the leveraging Descript and the tools and features they have to make those videos, genius. It's very exciting to watch them create something and grow it in such a great way.
Genius.
I feel like the hacks and the ingenuity are such a great part of it. Just, people have to get creative when they don't have all the resources in the world, and they need to find, a clever way to make use of tools that are out there. And then we all get to learn from each other's clever hacks, which I love.
Finley, sorry for any slowness or lagging in the video. We were troubleshooting behind the scenes here, and I think we figured it out. Sorry you were the guinea pig for it. It's that HD video. Yeah. Such a big, well done video. It's hard
Yeah,
to
seriously.
stream.
And Finn is offering up, hooking us up in the chat. So if you want to learn more, Finley's here with us. Great. So shall we move on? Are we ready to roll? Jay's got
Let's
Justin Geis up on, and there's another pre-recorded video. Justin does instructional materials for SketchUp, 3D modeling for 3D printing, things like that. And he's just got some really great stuff he's been working on in the video space. And so without further ado, Jay, cue it up. Let's see.
Hey guys, my
what
name's
Justin has
Justin
to share with
Geis.
us.
I run a website called the SketchUp Essentials. I actually have multiple different YouTube channels, and I teach people how to use 3D modeling programs. Tony reached out and asked if I wanted to do an update for Demo Day on what I've been doing in the...
Hold on. Are you seeing it?
Damn,
I'm
we were
hearing
so
it.
Nope.
close. I think
Just like
Justin
a
maybe
spooky-
have filmed it in the dark.
video
Well,
section
no, I see
of
it.
Pro.
I see
I
it
see
in
a
the
black
small
screen.
version. Can you hit play on my behalf, Tony, and see if that works?
I can sure try.
Hey guys, my name's Justin Geis.
I don't understand why. I'm seeing it in the small version. All right, let's try another one real quick. Let's try going over to Gail.
Okay, yeah. So basically, whichever order we're going to do it in, we've also got Gail Knott, who's a awesome member of the. Oh, Justin's in the chat saying that he did not. Film
I
it in pitch
know. I'm sorry,
darkness.
Justin. I'm seeing it
No,
playing in the
Justin.
small version. I don't know
Was
why
the-
it's not going in full screen.
Was the lens cap on?
That
Just
used
kidding.
to be a thing.
Justin's
Remember,
Justin's a
with
pro. Like it
with
definitely
traditional
wasn't.
cameras, when you'd use a camera and you'd frame up the shot and be like, I got some good pictures, and then
Let's try to
they
reload.
don't come
Actually,
out
let's see if
pitch
I can.
black.
See if I can get it to reload and try it this time. Okay, we're gonna try it one more time.
I'm so
All right, take the
intrigued
lens
now.
cap off.
Oh no, what happened? It just disappeared.
Oh jeez.
Jiminy.
What?
Thanks, by the way, to everybody sticking around. Appreciate y'all
What is happening?
joining for all of this and supporting our members.
Well, let's be honest. This is how it really works, right? This is we are building in public.
All right, guys. I keep hitting play and it just
Oh.
crashes. Let's try this
Well,
one.
I see it in the
Nope,
on
crashed
the
again.
left-hand bar.
Oh yeah, I see it over here too. Let's try this one.
My name's Justin Geis. I run a website called the
Okay,
SketchUp
hold on.
Essentials. I actually have multiple different YouTube channels, and I teach people how to use 3D modeling programs. Tony reached out and asked if I wanted to do an update for Demo Day on what I've been doing in the video section of Pro. So basically what I've been doing is I've been building a new YouTube channel, and I've been documenting the process. So I've built multiple different YouTube channels in the past, and I thought it would be kind of fun to build out a new channel and kind of go from start to finish talking through different things about like content strategy, how I'm picking the videos that I pick, even how I picked a topic. So, and then we're going to get into some more traffic building things and things like that as we move forward. But it's basically just kind of a fun way to document the process and get an idea of kind of how the YouTube algorithm works, what kind of an organic path for building a YouTube channel looks like, that kind of thing. So I thought what would be fun is, as I document the process, I'm not putting this out to my existing channels. So I'm not using those audiences to build this one, because that would kind of skew the results. So instead, we're going to take a look at what's working and what isn't working. And it's just kind of fun to document that process, and also just talk through what you can expect when you're creating a channel on YouTube. Because when you create a channel on YouTube, it's just a little bit different than other social channels. So we've talked about things like traffic strategies, and I've kind of gone through some of the analytics of those videos as well, just kind of showing like where the views are coming from, and we're going to get more into that in the future. So we've also had some really great discussions in the comments below those videos with different people asking questions about their channel or giving feedback on what I'm doing. So I'm just really enjoying building this up in kind of an organic way, and I'm really glad to have some people there to just kind of talk to about it. So it's a lot more fun to do this together than just to do it by yourself. So big thank you to Pro for giving such a great community where we can get together and do this. So everyone here here is like so open and welcoming and really, really open to giving feedback and getting feedback, and it's just been a lot of fun. So yeah, anyway, so if you're interested in being a part of that, just leave a comment under one of those videos. I'd be happy to add you to the list of people I tag when I put a new post out. So far it's been a ton of fun. I'm really excited to see where it goes. Again, big thank you to Pro. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Hooray for Justin. Jill, you were shouting out his building in public activity in Pro. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is just, and Justin knows because I won't stop talking about it in Pro, but the time he takes to like write out what he's doing and show shots, and then we can go and look at his channel and just all this stuff. I mean, it is just the crash course behind the scenes I've always wanted. It's amazing. It's just amazing. Justin, and he just started doing it one day. It was just like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing, and we're like, haha, yes. And we have a few members who do things like that, and it's just so valuable because even once it's launched and he's busy with other things, anyone can go and find all of those posts and learn a ton. So bravo. Justin's amazing. And he has a tiny bebe at home. He is juggling all of the work he does. They had a baby this summer, right, Justin? And so he's dealing with, a baby who's learning how to move around. So I'm just so impressed with everything Justin does, frankly. But I just appreciate the work he's doing to document it and share.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing for pros to do as well, is to like really document, show behind the scenes, not just show like the final product, but kind of talk about the why and how behind it. Something that I think we can do even better as a team also is to show our why and how, and sometimes even show like why things didn't go the way we planned or could have gone differently if we did something else. So that documentation approach, I think, is really valuable in the community.
Was way off on the baby. 13 months. Time is flying.
Also, just super shouts. I mean, for somebody to maintain that level and be bringing up a little 13-month-old, so amazing. Way to go. Way to be an inspiration, Justin. Thanks. All right, and appreciate all of you sticking around through the random technical difficulties. And, these stories are just so great. Jay, we are up to I believe it's our final presenter. And
wow.
After that, if we want to, I don't know if Jill and Jay, I'm putting you on the spot here, but maybe it wouldn't hurt to just kind of pull up a screen and show everybody what Pro looks like behind the scenes. Just like a little 2-3 minute walkthrough, give people a taste of what the latest is there. There's some new features that have come out that we might want to show off, if that's okay with y'all.
Sure.
Great. And in
Pulling
the
up a
meantime,
window right now,
Gail Knott, who is an online business coach and just such a wonderful contributor to the community, has a video to share, and we're going to try this other method for presenting videos. So let's see how it goes, and give it up internet noise for Gail Knott.
Gail.
Hello to the SPI Pro community. I'm Gail Knott, co-founder of Take Wing Coaching and Lift, online community for consultants, coaches, and solopreneurs. And thank you for allowing me to pre-record this because I'm camping in this trailer as we speak, and I wasn't quite sure if I have a good signal. I wanted to share what I've been working on. I launched my community before I joined Pro. Pro has been so helpful for me in getting feedback, getting support, asking questions, and learning from all of you, especially from the two masterminds that I'm in, Lychee for podcasting and Tomato for mastermind sites. And within my time in Pro, I've launched my first podcast. I've been wanting to do that for years and finally did it. And it's the Bourbon and Business Smash podcast with Gail and Corey Knott. And next year, we're going to open it up to guests. So thank you so much for getting me started on that. And I'm now at a point of consistency and getting an episode out every week and starting to fine tune our process, making it more of a resource for our listeners, for our audience, to grow that audience. I really appreciate, especially the Lychee podcast, for helping me get that off the ground. Also, during this time, I've updated my landing page for my community, my online community that I have. And that's also with the support actually from Pat directly, as well as from members of Pro. Thank you so much for giving me that feedback. And part of this process has been creating an evergreen funnel. As a new mom, I just don't have the time and resources at this point to be able to do launch after launch to promote my membership program. I've been learning a lot from all of you in how to create more of an evergreen funnel. The landing page is part of that. Podcasting is part of that. And now I just finished my ebook on sales conversations, which will be my lead magnet. And from that into a companion webinar that goes along with the lead magnet. Thank you so much again to everyone in Pro for helping me fulfill my dreams of having a more flexible business, being able to have my business online, be able to help more people, and in doing so, being able to spend more time with my daughter. Thank you everyone for your support.
Yay for Gail. So lovely.
Yeah. And the video upload worked.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that was smooth.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the part where it didn't stop.
We're learning here, guys. We learn in public and we share that with members of Pro. You heard Gail talking about Pro, so I just wanted to flash up the link in case you want to join a community of online business owners that can help you do things like start a mastermind or start a membership, build your lead magnet. Pro is reopening its doors on November 29th after Thanksgiving, so get your application in. We would love to have you. Gail has been around since the beginning, like literally the beginning. Gail was one of the first members in Pro. She's been here for a year and a half, and she is delightful.
Absolutely delightful. And her daughter often shows up in video calls, which is another delight.
And kudos to you, Jay, for putting in the work on the mastermind matching as well. I feel like, curating that. We know from some of the efforts we've done in the past, trying to match people into a group and, get the role in the room can be extremely hard, especially when can't be in a physical room to get them, kind of in the same place. So when it works, it's terrific. And when it doesn't work, then we refactor it, right? Which is cool. That's part of what we love. What I love about the seasonal format and this kind of cohort-driven format is that every season, every cohort gives you a chance to re-engage. And so if you're not part of SPI Pro, this gives you a chance to come in and not just be the only new person. You know that there's going to be a whole bunch of other new people coming in with you who are going to be setting goals alongside you, joining new mastermind groups alongside you. And so you're going to have some fresh faces that are going to be looking to make their first SPI Pro friend. And then what we do is shortly after we bring in the new cohort, we then have a goal setting opportunity where you set some kind of a goal for something you want to achieve that is maybe something you wouldn't have achieved but for being a part of SPI Pro and having it support. And then we use SPI Pro's gatherings, our co-working sessions. We have a virtual cafe where people hang out to do work as a chance to make time in our busy work weeks to move towards those goals. And that's important because we can just get so tied up with just maintaining the stuff that's coming at us, maintaining the things in our inbox, dealing with client work, things like that, that it's hard for us to make time and energy to do stuff proactively. No pun intended. But when we make time together, if we know that there is a time on the calendar when other pros are going to be showing up to do their goal-oriented work, then it's a little bit easier to make that forward progress. And at the kind of tail end of that season, of that cohort, is demo day. And this is your chance to show off what you achieved. And I think that's important because when we work for ourselves, we don't have the opportunity to show off what we've done to our peers and to get that feedback loop. So having this as a thing to put on your calendar, my ambition is for that to be something that gets you to finish something that you wouldn't have finished otherwise. Because I could have put it off, but man, I really wanted to get it done so I could show it off at demo day. And the beauty is that before too long, 10 days from now, we're going to open up the doors again. So you can submit your application, and then we're going to start the whole cycle over again, and we'll do another demo day in the new year. So hope that this has been a good experience for you. Jill, did you want to walk us through anything, or Jay, in terms of SPI Pro? I'm going to take that as a yes.
I think Jay's ready.
Look at this. Would you just look at it? Awesome. Well, I'd love to show you just a little bit behind the scenes of Pro. This is our home feed. When you come into Pro, this is what you see, which is kind of like a curation of the most recent posts within the community and the spaces that you are a part of. But what I really want to call out is kind of the spaces that are available to you here. Below that, we have our members directory, which I won't click on for the privacy of members who are in there, being that this is a public stream. But this is a new and improved feature that allows you to like really do a good job of now searching for other members to connect with based on interests, on location, and then send them a direct message to have a one-to-one conversation with them or connect with them in that way. Every week, we spotlight a member who is really embodying what it means to be a good member of Pro, and we celebrate them. We also every week share our wins with each other for that week, because as Tony said, there are a lot of times as a online business owner that you just don't have anyone to talk to or to share small wins, like creating your lead magnet. Really exciting for us, things that people like us can get excited about, things that your parents on Thanksgiving will just roll their eyes and maybe ignore you saying that you did it.
Or it'll just go over their head.
It's like
That's
what?
nice, dear.
You do the who'sy whatsy? What is it that you do? We have live events every single week of different varieties. Every week I host an office hours. Tony's begun hosting office hours inside of Pro. Jill hosts our Ask an Expert interviews and our late night Oceania meetup. I still don't know how to say it. Oceania. We have a place for you to show off what you've made. We have challenges every month that Pat hosts himself. Pat also hosts AMAs inside the community. If you are looking for help for any particular reason, you can ask for help in Help Wanted. And then we have a lot of topic-specific channels to ask questions about affiliate marketing or your membership community, podcasting, video, really anything as an online business owner that you want to get some help with. You know, we will have a spot for you to do so inside of Pro. Jill, anything you want to highlight while I've got this shared?
You know, like as you can see, there's a lot going on, but it's like as far as all the spaces and things, and it just looking at it here might be like, but when you join, we do our best to try to kind of help you find the path for you. And it's great. I mean, there's a bunch of people in the chat that are pros that could probably attest. Like you kind of find your crew, and it can just take off if you're motivated to make connections and collaborate and whatnot. You can do all sorts of things. So we love it. It's such a joy to help all of our members reach their goals. And you know, people will share wins throughout the week. And like Graham, who was in the chat, I don't know if he is anymore, with Knight's Writing, he's our member of the week this week. But even before that, he posted in the wins channel that, you know, he does e-commerce. His site and his YouTube and whatnot are all about like fountain pens and all the different parts and which ones are good. And it's, you know, you can buy them all on his site, but also learn about the art of penning. I don't know, Graham, I don't know what you would call that, but what's the verb? But he shared a win this week about getting certified in SEO and how, you know, he never thought he'd do anything like that. And because that's just not his, you know, his like wheelhouse, his genius. And it's just like so fun to celebrate that with him. Right. And yeah, we have like SEO experts in Pro that are even commenting and being like, you're well on your way, you know, just encouraging and are there as a source of support. So I just really love the camaraderie. I think it's priceless.
Yeah. And the masterminds, which Jill has really taken over organizing and running, a highlight for a lot of our members. when you come into Pro, we give you the opportunity shortly after you enroll to say, hey, I want to join a mastermind group. And we do a lot of the legwork of matching you with a group that fits your business and what you're trying to achieve, and placing you within that group so you can start meeting with them on whatever basis you guys decide, whether it's weekly or monthly or bi-monthly, really up to the groups. But a lot of folks tell us that the masterminds are really where they get the most out of their membership. And that's great. A lot of people use SPI Pro differently. And if you come in and you want to get some insight into how to best use it for your goals, we're happy to help you do so.
We got a Jill is awesome in the chat. I think that's a sentiment
thanks,
shared
Mark.
across a great many people. Thanks for that overview, Jill and Jay. Actually, to circle back to something that was brought up at the very beginning of the event, David had mentioned the office hours, and my first office hours, which were yesterday. I was blown away. My first office hours, and I'm not as active as both of you in Pro lately, but I did an office hours focused on community, and for an hour, we had 15 people show up and just asked me so many questions about community building. We had such great conversation. A lot of people had a lot to contribute to each other, and can't wait to keep that going as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Any final parting words, Jill and Jay? Any last announcements or anything you want to shout before we wrap it up?
I want to say thanks to you, Tony, for organizing Demo Day as you do, and shepherding us through this showcase. It's fun. Thanks to all the pros who took part in it today. We'll have another Demo Day in the next quarter, about 3 months from now. So folks who are joining folks who are joining this new cohort of members between November 29th and December 12th, you will have the opportunity to present at our next Demo Day. If you're not already a member, or if you are a member and you want to present, you can do that the next time. So thanks, Tony. Thanks to everyone who participated.
Yes. Thanks to all of the presenters. Thanks to you and to Jill and to Pat and Known as well, all your help. And thanks everyone in the chat for all of your positive reinforcement and just being great, bringing some great energy. So thanks to you all. We will see you for the next Demo Day in, I believe it is January. So stay tuned for more on that. In the meantime, keep doing your thing. Keep being awesome.
Get ready.
All
Bye,
right,
everybody.
bye everyone. Bye.